Someone say something. I want to make sure there's no echo.
Something.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Is that good?
That's good.
Is it good?
I could turn the volume up louder.
Oh, yeah.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
That should be loud enough. Oh boy.
Okay.
I want the weekend to come so bad. Like I'm so done with this week. Well, actually, no. I want Friday to come. Like I'm fiending for Friday. Like.
Is okay. There it is. All right.
Yeah, Friday. I'm just like, damn, the week is gonna come by real fucking quick.
Right.
All right, guys. Okay, who's this? Ugh. Everybody is in. So, Boogie, you're co-hosting, so you have the ability to let people in the room as well.
Okay, cool.
All right, so I am about to set the record. Yes. All right. So, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining Boy Talk. Today, our topic is boy culture, where we as leather boys will be discussing our lives as leather boys in all that it entails. So, our panelists are, but they're all not here yet. So, our panelists are boy Phil, boy Zadis, boy Robbie, boy Octavius, boy Muhammad. So everyone's not here yet, so I just decided to go ahead and just start it. So everyone who is not on a panel, I would ask that you keep your mics muted until such time as you are speaking. And to keep order, what we'll do is when you have a question or a comment, you can either put it in the chat or you can raise your hand and Boogie and or I will select whomever for their comments or their questions. So what I'm going to ask right now is that each panelist introduce themselves, give a brief bio of your leather journey and whatever house or leather club that you're in. Just give us a little insight on your journey as a leather boy thus far. So who wants to go first? We only got a couple of panelists.
I mean, I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm Boy Zadis, part of the House of Kinky Misfits. Been in the lifestyle year and a half, real time. I don't really know if I count online because it's a whole different world out there. But yeah, just starting out my journey. Really excited to be here, be part of Leather Boys of Color, and to be doing this boy talk.
Awesome. And is boy Phil still here?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I tend to go on mute just so I'm not background noise isn't being heard. Hi,
Mhm.
I'm Boy Phil or Boy Aphrodite. I am about a little over 20 years of boy service. Um, I'm currently, I've been 12 of those years I've been in Onyx Mid-Atlantic, and I'm currently the sitting vice president of Onyx Mid-Atlantic.
Awesome.
Um, my boy journey is always continuing. My life goal is to be the ultimate sub. So it is something that I strive to always do.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, okay. Boy Boogie. Let's
Yes.
let's get a little information on you and your journey thus far.
Oh God, where do I start? So hi, people who don't know me. I am Boy Boogie, a pup, little switch. My leather journey started roughly, I would say around 2018 or so, and then really got into it the last 3.5 years. Um, I'm looking to get more information, more knowledge, and pass that on to other people. You know, being a boy and being non-binary is tough when dealing with those kind of constructs, because people will say, oh, well, how can you be a boy if you don't identify as a boy? Well, I was like, well, it's a difference of opinions for me. Like it doesn't add up the way people perceive it to be. It's different. So that's my leather journey. What I'm looking to gain out of it going forward is just provide more information, provide more education, demos, and do all that stuff, and get as much information as I can so that I can pass it on to other people.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, before I go into my little background, Boy Phil, would you rather be called Boy Phil or Boy Aphrodite?
Aphrodite, if y'all don't mind.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm digging the name. Well, I am Boy Over. My leather journey started in 2014 when I met my first leather daddy. Became a member of Onyx Southeast in 2016. I joined the house of Illuminati Ra in 2020 under the leadership of my current leather daddy, Master Eli Ra. Yeah, that's pretty much me. I am a founding member of the Leather Boys of Color. And the Leather Boys of Color was created to be a safe space for, again, Leather Boys of Color. Where we can come together, excuse me, and support each other, share knowledge with each other, hold each other up, and just be what we call our brothers keepers. So now that that's out of the way, before I get to my first question, Boy Aphrodite said you aspire to be the ultimate sub. Can you elaborate on that for me, please? Just explain to us what that means to you.
So for me, being a boy, I know one of my gifts that God has given me is service. It's a talent that not every boy actually has. It's something that's taught. I was given it naturally. I love service. I love making people feel good. I feel good when you feel good. Maybe it's part of being a Cancer as well. But as far as my journey, I started learning about kinks and fetishes just from dating different people. And I realized, okay, in order for me to be able to please, I can't be into just one or two or three things. I have to keep an open mind and expound my knowledge, my education, keep my kink play at the top of its game, both as a top and as a bottom. Just because we're boys and we're subs doesn't mean that we can't give pleasure as well as receive. So I've learned I'm always on a journey to perfect my craft, perfect my kinks and fetishes, learn different combinations of kinks and fetishes, and learn how to read any person that I plan on being with just through conversation. So that way I know how to angle myself to please them. Because if they are pleased, in theory, I will be pleased as well.
Okay. Now I identify with that because I also say that I'm a natural sub. I didn't have to be trained on how to give service. The only thing that I needed to be trained on is how my dom like his stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I've always, like in my relationships, I've always been a submissive person.
Same.
And it wasn't received well because I guess people in the vanilla world take submissiveness to be a sign of weakness, you know, and it's actually a strength. Like with my first leather daddy, I did, because I'm a service boy. I'm a domestic service boy, period. I did his laundry. I set out his clothes for work for the week. I set out his gym clothes for the week. I cleaned his living area. I online shop for his clothing because he does not like to shop. So I did all. So in doing that, although he's the dom, I control his life, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
Because the only thing he had to do was go to work.
Right. So I always tell boys this, being a sub doesn't mean that you run the relationship in a sense.
Yeah, it's a power exchange.
It is, once you pick the dom, you pick the person that you want to service. So you can give them that power, you can take it back.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in giving them that power, you're telling them, I am pleased with you enough as a dom that I'm going to give you my gift of my submission. Don't mess it up, I'm take it back.
There you go.
But when you have it, I will make sure that all of your needs to a T are taken care of.
Absolutely.
Because I'm like you, when I'm with my daddy, Kaleidoscope Onyx, I know how he likes his coffee. I know what foods he doesn't like. I know what foods he does like. I know what time he typically wakes up, when he's getting sleepy, when something's wrong just by a glint in his eye. Like, I know my daddy to a T.
Right.
So it's something that comes natural. Like you said, not every sub knows how to do it.
Absolutely. Hold on one second. As a sub, okay, you're getting ahead of us. So anyway, the first question, I'll start with Zetas. How did you come to identify as a boy?
Did a whole lot of soul search, a lot of shadow work, a lot of looking deep inside and realizing that not only did I want to be submissive, I wanted to be something more, and that I had a calling to be something more. It's how I found myself to consider myself a slave and then eventually a leather boy. with some gentle urging and nudging from my daddy, Sir Jeep. I ended up on a path to be a leather boy. And when I first started out within the House of Kinky Misfits, I was very green. I was very new. All I really knew was the online world and kind of finding real life what that's like. I realized, yeah, it was a calling for me. My brother, Boy Miska, and the way he conducts himself and the way he goes about his submission and his service compared to the other slaves and submissives that I've seen. I aspired to be that. I wanted to be that. And so I started down the journey to be a boy.
Okay. So you mentioned that you were a slave first, right?
Right. Well, being very green, I was kind of finding out about myself. I was very much just trying to find stuff out. And so I started off as considering myself just an S type of submissive. And then from then I went into considering myself a slave. And then eventually it became a boy.
Okay. So from your perspective, what is the difference between the two?
Slave and a boy, there's not, from my perspective, it's kind of, they're hand in hand for me.
Mm-hmm.
I know the outside world may see some kind of difference. I really don't. I don't really see a difference. That's why I use the words interchangeably. I call myself a boy. I call myself a slave. It really doesn't make any difference to me. I think it really kind of means the same thing. I guess it kind of is the environment. Like I call myself a boy in here, obviously, because we're the LeatherboysofColor. But as far as like outwardly, it's the same level of service, the same dedication, the same heart that you put into it, I think. So there isn't really a difference.
Okay. So, boy Aphrodite, how did you come to identify as a leather boy?
I think I was 19 and I went to my first MAL. And I was just walking around and it just, when I saw Doms approach me, I just naturally submitted. We'll use Doms, if I could use that term properly. And just over time, I just realized that even as my partners would come in and out of my life, I was naturally submissive. So when I enter into the leather lifestyle, it was just easier for me to be a boy.
Okay.
So I've been a boy ever since.
Awesome. Okay. So, boy Aphrodite, how many Doms have you had?
Ooh. 4, including my current.
Okay. So with that being said, what would you say is a leather boy's role in the vetting process?
I would have to say to make sure that you're compatible in your communication, compatible in whatever procedures that your Dom might want, compatible in hobbies, because even though it's not an official relationship, it's a relationship. So Doms and subs spend time together. So y'all need to be able to mesh when you're not doing kink. And then you have to be able to make sure that you're compatible. Did I say communication? Communication is a must.
Yes.
Between a Dom and a sub. And
right.
You have to be able to mesh with your trust. Especially if you're in a multi-boy situation, or even an open relationship or an open dynamic where both dom and sub can play with other people, that trust comes into play religiously. And then you have to be compatible in your kinks and fetishes because you want to be able to play with each other.
Right. Same question, Boy Zetas. What, from your
I think you have
perspective?
a hand up.
I'm sorry.
I think there's a hand up. Lamar.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I wanted to the question that you had asked Zetas about the boy. Well, I don't consider myself a leather boy. When I started my journey within the bear community years ago, due to the fact that I was so young, I was basically a boy to all of the daddy bears and the older guys. They would be like, "Okay, so you're considered you're a cub now. You're a cub. You're a boy." So I've always been called boy, son, cub, a youngin, youngster, all the nicknames I've been through, and I've always respected my elders within the bear community who are older than me by calling them sir, so by saying yes sir, no sir, yes daddy, no daddy, stuff like that. And it's like I even I even make my own abbreviations to some of the bear categories. I like, for example, a ginger bear I say ginger daddy bear. I break it down and I abbreviate it by saying GBD, which is ginger daddy bear. And they'd be like, what does that mean? I'd be like, that's what it's the abbreviation of ginger daddy bear. And or sometimes I'll say, like, if the guy's name is Tim, for example, I'll say hi daddy Tim. Or I always like to put a title to the person's name based on their pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for that insight. Boy Zetas, the question of, from your perspective, what is the boy or the sub's role in the vetting process?
I feel that it's the most important in the beginning to definitely, like Aphrodite said, to get to know each other, to make sure you're compatible, to have the open communication, but also to take your time with it, to be your own advocate, to say like, hey, this is what I can do for you, and to show some interest in it, but also to understand kind of if you're going to jive together, if you'll actually like, if your service will match up with what their needs are. And also kind of the way that their dominance looks, kind of what that jives with your submission. It's important to really get to know who you are, and as well as who this prospective dominant is. And it's, yeah.
I asked that question because there are a lot of subs who are not really versed in the vetting process and believe that the vetting is just the DOMS thing. You know what I mean? They don't know. It's like, for me, when I go into an interview for a job, I let them know, just like you're trying to see if I'm a good fit for your company, I'm also interviewing you to see if your company is a good fit for me. I didn't really vet my first daddy because I was new and I didn't know any better. But my second leather daddy, I watched how he I watched how he conducted himself in the leather bar. I watched his postings. I watched how he responds to posts. And I did that for a few months before I asked him if we could begin the vetting process. Because I vetted before we began the vetting process, if that makes any sense. So it's vitally important that we value ourselves as submissive to put the effort in vetting the Dom just as the Dom is vetting us, so that we don't get caught up in something that we're not prepared for, if that makes any sense. Do you have anything, Boogie?
Oh yeah. So I was gonna say it's interesting to hear different perspectives, because for me, I know when I first started out, I would just keep it real. Like, I had no interest in the leather for what it is in terms as a dynamic in that realm whatsoever. I knew that I was I was into age play. I was looking for a caregiver or a daddy at the time specifically. And that was my concept of, I guess you can say, submissive and a dom. Like, that was my perspective of it. It wasn't in the vein of, protocol. It wasn't in the vein of having like a daddy for that purpose. It was mainly, I just want somebody to take care of me, and had that perspective. No, like, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like I started getting really versed in leather culture that I was like, okay, so it can look the same, but it's a process that you have to go through on both sides in order to achieve what you're looking for.
Right.
So now, going into things, like, I kind of like what you do. Like, I watch people and not watching like, oh, is this a potential candidate? But like, I just watch people's attitudes. I watch people's, like, how they carry themselves, how they respond to people, how they respond to conflict, how to do those things. And like, okay, this can be, someone I can like kind of like approach to, like, hey, like, I like the way you move. I like your energy. Your energy is kind of matching mine, but I'm also, more on the submissive side. So just hearing you say that, I was like, it does put a lot of perspective, and it does needs more discussion to that. As S types, we need to learn the process of knowing how to vet, and knowing that it goes both ways. Like, everything in this whole thing goes both ways. It's a two-way street. It's never one side or another side, or like, because I'm the sub, I just need to just not do anything. Like, the Dom's supposed to do all the work. Like, no, you have to do work too.
Absolutely. All right, you guys said that. Okay, boy Aphrodite. What are some of the things that you are enjoying most about your leather journey?
The ride, literally and figuratively. But really, just the experience, meeting new people, the growth within myself as I learn more, not just from books, but from other Leathermen, both S and D types and switches. And just I know I'm a part of Onyx, but the education of it all, the exploration of it all, the empowerment of it all, it's my favorite part. I eat, live, and sleep leather, and not just leather, neoprene, underwear, everything. I love this kinky lifestyle. It's almost like, I use a lot of movie references. It's like being unplugged from the Matrix, and you are just free. I think that's the best way I can say. I love the freedom of this leather journey, to know that I'm not confounded by the limitations of society and how society expects me to be as a Black man, that I can do whatever I want and it's okay. But yeah, the there's no real favorite part. I love it all.
Oh, awesome. Okay, same question, boy Zetas. What are some of the things you are enjoying most about your leather journey thus far? Boy Zetas? Am I muted? No.
Bad.
Yeah, it looks like he's technical.
Did you hear the question, boy Zetas?
Can you hear us? Maybe technical difficulties. While boy is getting that situated, I guess I'll just kind of like just fill in the void. What I like about the whole leather experience is basically being able to just be like literally like a kid in the candy store and like finding things and finding variety of, you know, different aspects, things that I didn't think that I would never be into in a million years, and then coming to find out not only is it something that I enjoy, but something that I can then teach. So the education part of it is really big with me, especially with everything. Like I can go to an event or go to a play party and I can talk. And like that would be the night, because I just love hearing people's stories. Where did they come from? How did you get to where you are? Where do you see yourself going? So I love that aspect about the leather journey. And I love the aspect that, again, like leather is not just what you wear, it's who you are. It's an identity. It is, you know, powerful. Live like leather. Don't just because you wear it. Anybody could go out and buy some leather and then like they want to call themselves, you know, so and so, or I'm a sir, I'm a master, I'm a dom, I'm this. And it's like, well, you don't even know the first thing about leather, but you know, that's what it is these days. So it's like I love just hearing people's stories. I love sharing my story because I know that I came from a place where I didn't think this was possible. I thought this was on some barbaric, like, why would anybody enjoy this? Why would people like this? What is going on? But to understand, like, no, it's more than just what you see, especially when you look at the negotiation part, then you look at the aftercare part, you look at the relationship and the bonding between two or more people, depending on how it goes. Like, that's what I love about it. So, yeah, I just love that aspect of it in and of itself.
Cool. Okay, boy Zetas, you're back with us?
Yeah, I'm good now. My speakers cut out for a second there for some reason. I don't know, but we're good now, I think.
Okay. Did you hear the question?
Yeah, so it's what I like most about my leather journey is getting to know myself more. I think starting out in the journey, I kind of was unsure of who I was, kind of unsure of where I fit, if I would fit, do I deserve to fit? And then along the journey, kind of along the ride of it all, finding out that there is a place for me and that I belong somewhere. I belong, you know, part of the leather lifestyle, you know, and finding, you know, leather boys of color and be like, all right, you know, I may pass as, you know, not of color, but, you know, to kind of find a belonging and sense of camaraderie and community and brotherhood. It's something that I was not expecting when I first started on my journey of being in the lifestyle. Yeah, the ride's crazy sometimes. The ride is crazy.
It absolutely is. What I like most about, go ahead.
Can I say this? You are a person of color. There is no such thing as you may not look like it. Color comes in every shade. From your skin tone to the darkest of darks. You are a person of color. It's not what's on the outside, it's in your blood. So please always remember that. There is no such thing of, oh, I'm passing. We're beyond that. It's not 1890 anymore. It's 2023. Everyone's mixed with something. So be proud of that you are ethnic. I'm sorry, that touched me.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that because I
Here
feel
for
like
the
I'm
love of
passing sometimes, and I'm like I look away. It's a whole thing.
I get it.
Mhm. So I was just gonna go into what I like about my leather journey thus far. Um, the first thing is, like Boy Zetas expressed, um, I finally found myself in a space where I can look around and see, wow, there are others just like me, and be comfortable with being who I am and doing what I do. Um, and I also enjoy the fact that we're all different and the same. Um, and this space is supposed to be a space where we're allowed to be who we are and do what we do without judgment. If I'm not into whatever kink you're into, I'm not going to turn my nose up to what you're into. What I am going to do is I'll support what you're into. If it's not for me, it's just not for me. You know what I mean? I'm not going to turn my nose up. It's like, oh, you do that, and then people,
They do.
people do that a lot.
Okay. Tell me
People do
about
that a lot. Like when I was in service with my first leather daddy and um was pledging onyx, and I was breaking down to my pledge brothers what my service was like, and some of them were like, you do all that, you do too much. Well, that's who and what I am. I'm a submissive. I'm a natural submissive. I'm a real submissive. So whatever is never too much. You know what I mean? My punishments would be, no, you can't come over to do your chores. That shit would crush me. I hated that.
Oh,
you know. So the next question is a doozy. So, boy Aphrodite, what are some of your disappointments in this journey of leather that you've been in thus far?
I'm gonna try and keep this answer short.
relax.
You really gotta start
Not me.
The realization of fake doms. I gotta call a spade a spade.
Man.
Growing up in this lifestyle, I learned I had to learn a lot on my own. Luckily, I was still young enough. I think I was about 5 or 6 years in when I joined Onyx. But a lot of that time, I was learning on my own, and I didn't know about petitioning. I didn't know about negotiations. I didn't know about the vetting process. I got, you're cute. You're gonna be my boy. Okay.
Mm.
You know, and then them giving me a collar, not really knowing what it meant. And then realizing, ew, we're not compatible. What is this? I don't want to, I don't want to service you. But I was already locked into a relationship because I accepted a collar, then I didn't know what it meant. Another disappointment I would have to say was the lack of education and not knowing. Um, I didn't know about all the books that were out there
Mm.
15, 16 years ago. I wish I would have. Um, and then just not realizing, not breaking free of my own fears when it comes to the community and the stigma that comes with being a leatherman. Like I lost friends, or I I did lose friends when I told them, hey, I'm into leather. Oh, you're into that nasty stuff, because I guess they researched some stuff and that's what they equated being into leather into. Um, but the stuntness of growth between those first 5 to 6 years, I think that would have to be my biggest disappointment, because I was very eager to learn. And when you're new to the lifestyle and you don't have that knowledge in front of you because your dom or your mentor isn't knowledgeable, and they're just feeding you what they've heard or what they've read off something that has been completely wrong, they stunt your growth. It's a big disappointment.
A boy Zetas, same question.
I agree with everything he said, but there's definitely, I have to agree. He has some great answers. Takes words out of my mouth. But in addition to that, it's as great as to find out about yourself and to become more in touch with yourself. You also come to learn the icky, darker, more difficult to deal with parts of yourself. And I've really had to do a lot of soul searching, a lot of looking within myself and finding out who I am and finding out again, like where I belong. And I represent something bigger now. And so I need to be a better person than I was yesterday. And that's not always easy. The lifestyle and the path is not always easy. I've learned that the hard way, that it takes a lot of effort and a lot of learning and growing, which growing is painful sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. We have a hand up.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I definitely Aphrodite. I can definitely relate to being in one of those relationships with the false dom, because it took me about, I think it was like almost 2 years now, and I literally had to finally cut off my dom after well, a quote unquote dom, after I noticed a lot of the things that he was just doing. Like, everybody would tell me that he's not right for you, that he's just the worst person, that he's not the worst person, he's just not the greatest person to be around or anything. And like, literally, I'm one of those people that's so stubborn that I would fail to see, that I would see the good in people no matter what. And he took advantage of that fact. And then I realized, as I slowly started distancing myself, I started realizing a lot of things in it. Eventually, like, he was a collector, and I just had to cut him off.
Thank you for that. Well, I would say, as far as disappointments in my journey, I was fortunate with my first leather daddy that he had me read and research just about everything. So my only real disappointment was I found in a lot of areas a lack of brotherhood, which is why I am glad that the Leather Boys of Color was created. And I'm looking forward to it being a bigger entity. And I'm looking forward to life-changing moments. I'm looking forward to stronger bonds. I'm looking forward to more brotherhood. I'm looking forward to submissives being heard, being seen, and being respected. So yeah, so the lack of brotherhood was one of my major disappointments, and also the lack of education that I've seen from newcomers coming in. And when people reach out to me, I get mixed feelings. And Mama Va said to me in 2015 at Blackout, she said to me, she said, absolve all you can, because you are here for somebody else. You are here for those coming behind you. You know, and before she said that to me, she was talking to a group of us, and it was, I'm going to say, an emotional interaction for me. It was my first time ever being at any type of leather event, and the wisdom that came from her and the words of encouragement that came from her just gave me more of a reason to do what it is that I'm doing today. You know, I don't claim to know everything, but if we put our heads together, we'll find somebody who knows the stuff that we can't figure out. So yeah, there's that. You have anything, Boogie?
Yes, I do. Can we be real for a moment? I just want to be
We can be really real. That's what this is for.
I'll try to keep it somewhat short, but for me, the disappointments does come from lack of, togetherness, lack of, community, because everybody has to say, oh, we're part of a community. But, that word community is so vague nowadays. They use it and it's like, it don't mean shit. It really don't. So in of that, like some of my biggest disappointments has just been like, lack of holding each other accountable for what we do right and what we do wrong without going and listening to what somebody else said and going off that information. Like, you do your research and you find out the facts, follow the facts, not somebody else's opinion. And it's rampant now. It's to a point where nobody wants to do that because that's too much work. That's too much. I don't want to do that. But instead, you're going to believe your good girlfriend because, your girlfriend's never going to lie. Your girlfriend's never going to, say things just because she didn't like the way she was treated or whatever the case may be. She's just going to, we're good. So that's been a major disappointment for me. Like, even now to this day, like, I'm going through it now, whereas it's like we're supposed to be in this together. We're supposed to be, helping one another. We're supposed to be like supporting one another, whatever. And it's like, for me personally, like, I just felt like I haven't been getting that for a while now, not with this group, but just with other different entities and other things. We're not going to name names because that's not what we're here for. Yeah. But to say that is just been like, it's been digging at me because it's like you said, but like, I'm not here for myself. I've never sat there and said, look at me, look what I'm doing, look at me, this is for attention or that. Everything that I've done, everything I'm doing is for the benefit of other people that are coming behind me, because I know what it's like. I know what it's like to go into spaces and not knowing anybody or not knowing anything and just being that fly on the wall because it's like, I don't know how to approach nobody, So I've been there. So for me now to be as expressive as I am and more confident in myself, it's like, I want to give that back to other people. I want to give that to the people that's going to walk through the door, because like now I'm in a position where I can give that information. I can be that person of comfort. I can be that person to say, hey, I know where you've been. It's going to be okay. Sometimes I know it's overwhelming, but don't take it so seriously, because this is a journey. This is a marathon. It is not a sprint. Like, you're not going to know everything you're going to learn in 30 days or so. Like, this takes time. And as you go on, you're going to learn a lot of things about yourself. You're going to learn about things that you absolutely love. You're going to learn things that you absolutely don't love. You're going to learn different people. You're going to learn, some people, it was good today, they may not be good tomorrow. And that's okay to say that, because you have to set boundaries for yourself first and foremost.
Right.
You have to set those boundaries for yourself. And just another thing real quick, just the fact that we say we don't yuck anybody's yum, but we do that. Like, again, I can only speak for myself, and I know what it's like being ABDL. Like, it's one of those top taboo kinks and fetishes that people are still hung up on because they associate it with the negative stuff, or they associate it with stuff that we don't even want anything to do with. So when I come into a space, I may not necessarily be in a jock strap, I may not necessarily be in a harness, but I maybe want to look cute, I want to be in a onesie and stuff like that. And it's like people give me those daggering looks, like, how dare you, you're not leather, you can't be in here, you don't belong here. And it's like, no, like, again, leather is an identity, it is not what you're wearing on the outside, you know. So for me, that's just been a disappointing factor, because it's like, as much progress as being made, there's always those pockets that just gets me down sometimes. I'm like, damn, like, why can't we just respect one another? We don't have to accept anything. We don't have to accept anything.
Right.
Let's just respect, okay, this is what you are, this is what you do. I respect that you're living the life the way you want to live it. It may not be for me, that's cool. That's not my cup of tea. But, you know, in this world of kink and we're all kinksters, like, that one common goal should be like, okay, we're already ostracized. We're already looked at as deviants. We're already looked at as all these different things. And so we don't need to tear each other down in the process. We need to start building each other up, so then when we face those real enemies, we could be like, no, we're united in this. Yes, we have our differences. Yes, we don't get along all the time. But in this fight, like, that doesn't matter, because there's a bigger picture at hand. There's a bigger war to fight. So without going too much, like I could go on all night, I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah, I just wish we just need to do better. And like, the only way we can do better is, you know, having these type of talks, having these discussions, these real discussions, and finding out how can we be more collective, so that we can, like, send that message out instead of, you know, the message that's been going on for who knows how long.
Bitch, I love you.
It took time. I was not always like this. I was real shy and real nervous and real timid. But like, again, it took watching those people who have integrity and display that integrity to be like, no, you can do this too. Like, it's okay. People are not gonna, everybody's not gonna like you. And so that's what I live by today. I'm not here for it to be liked by everybody.
And
it's okay to be respected. Like, you're gonna respect me. That's a demand.
Absolutely.
That's not negotiable. But, you know, it is what it is. And like, you know, we're gonna get through it.
Okay. So our next question, because my bedtime reminder just went off. But the next question is, in your dating life, would you prefer, I'm going to start with you, boy, Aphrodite. Would you prefer to date within the community, within the leather culture, or would you prefer to date someone who doesn't have anything to do with the leather culture?
Before I answer, I think Lamar had his hand up.
No, I was just gonna say I love when Boogie goes in on when he explains stuff. It's like I'd be like, go on, keep going on, and he, like, Boogie inspired me, like, inspires me, like, in so many ways in so many aspects of the word. It's just like I'm sitting here like halfway tired and from like a busy day, and I'm just like, go on, like, just ramble it. I don't care. Like, I'm
the next one.
Exactly.
The next one. Okay? Like, we gonna go deep. Okay.
Like, keep feeding it to me. Like, no shade.
And the thing is, we don't have to always wait to do a boy talk to have these conversations. You know, somebody can set it up, and if we all could collectively get together and do a Zoom and just have a discussion, then we can do that. And that's what this group is for.
Absolutely. I am here for it. To answer your question, I need I need someone in the community. It makes it so much easier to be able to express myself, because when I meet muggles and I give them my list of kinks and fetishes, I get blocked. point blank period. It's an extensive list. I've been doing this a long time. I like what I like. And before I can tell vanilla people that I don't do everything at once, it's the menu. You can choose what you want.
Right.
They block me. Or I used to, and I've even gotten this from Leatherman. You're into too much, Aphrodite. What? Huh? What you mean? I thought y'all like people nasty. I thought you liked them kinky. I'm like, I don't have to do everything. This is a menu. Choose. You know, but I've dated people that weren't kinky, and it was depressing and boring. Don't get me wrong. I love muggle sex. It's great, you know, but sprinkle some kink in there somewhere, you know. And then I also say there is a such thing as kink sex where there's no penetration at all and you are just doing kinks. And that is sometimes just as pleasurable, if not more, than penetrative sex. But beyond the sexual portion, a leather person gets the lifestyle. You don't have to tell them you're poly or that you're in a dynamic and they're like, huh, what do you mean? I don't have to deal with that. And I will say it's kind of easier to communicate with a leather person versus a non-leather person. I say kinda because even in our leather community, we still bound ourselves to monogamous and normal relationship statuses or status quo when we're anything but. So I can say my daddy / boyfriend, we've been together 3 years, not an argument, because our communication is always on point. I know his kinks and fetishes. I know what he likes. I know how he likes to be pleased. I know when to talk to him, when he's not, and vice versa. Trying to deal with somebody like that outside the kink world, I couldn't find it. So, yes, they have to be in the community for me to mess with.
Okay. So how about you, boys Atis?
I definitely agree. There has to be somebody that's in the lifestyle. I've dated the vanillas, or I like muggles better. That's my new word. I'll use that now, but no, I've dated vanillas. It's not me. It's why past relationships haven't worked out. I didn't know at the time, but knowing now who I am, that's why past relationships didn't work. And not everybody follows your 5 pillars. You know, our pillars of leather. Not everybody has that, and if people are in the community, at least have an understanding or knowledge of that, and they come to the table with at least the same kind of understanding and knowledge as you, as far as what we're here to do, what we're here for. It's a lot easier to explain to people, hey, I'm into this, like I too am a little, and I'm very much into wearing my onesies and my pacifiers and all that kinky stuff. And to the outside world, that's weird. Like there's something wrong with you. But to somebody that's in a lifestyle, that even if that's not their kink, they understand, hey, that is my kink, and it's a little bit easier to explain that, hey, this is what I'm into. You can't explain that to muggles, you just can't. And it's a lot easier as far as just the comfortability and vetting and like, what do you enjoy? I'm into this. Communication seems to flow a lot better between those in the community compared to the outside community, because you can just talk about everything. Whereas in the vanilla, you've got to definitely watch what you say. And that makes, I think, the relationship overall hard. It would be very difficult for me to go back to dating muggles because they very much don't fully understand, because all they understand about kink is what they see in 50 Shades in the secretary. And that's just not what this is. It's not what we do here. Not what we do.
It is definitely not that Hollywood
worst.
shit, for sure.
2 of the worst examples of our lifestyle ever.
Oh,
I have to say it.
and porn.
And porn,
yeah,
that's all they know. That's all they know. That's what they think we do. And when I say I'm in the lifestyle, that's what that's what they think I'm into. And it's you can't unconvince them.
and the sad part is they are so close-minded to what they want. They are missing out on a wonderful life.
Hmm. For me, I can date within the culture and I can date outside of the culture. And if I do date outside of the culture, then they would have to be accepting of my life in the culture. Um, I had one person tell me that, and this is someone that I dated before and wanted to start up again, and said, but you would have to give up this leather lifestyle. And I said, well, then we can't date. Because if you can't accept a part of me, then you can't have any of me, period. So, but yeah, yeah, it's just, it could be, I've seen successful relationships where one party was into the culture and one party wasn't. And the one who wasn't into the culture supported everything that his partner did within the culture. He actually got him involved in the culture because he noticed that there was something missing in their relationship. So he found a space for his partner where he can be that dominant that he couldn't be at home. So I, it's just it can happen, and I'm open to it, but I'm not open to someone telling me that I cannot be who I am, and that I cannot be what I am. I just that's just not an option for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like, I definitely think that there's a possibility for it to happen and for it to even work, as long as that communication is there to a degree, and like respect is there. Because I don't like to force anything onto anybody. And for me, being non-binary, being polyamorous, I love people. I'm attracted to people. It doesn't matter your gender expression, doesn't matter. None of that matters to me. Your energy matters to me. And I think that I'm fortunate, at least now, to be in relationships with several people, several partners. And it's not a network. It's not a whole big giant network thing, but like the ones that I'm in a relationship with or in a dynamic with, it flows better because we have that interest of kink, that interest of fetishes. So conversations do flow better. Like negotiations and stuff like that, and boundaries, it goes a lot better because at least we understand that yes, we are kinky and we love kinky shit, but there are also things that maybe the partner doesn't like, or that partner is not into, or that partner hasn't tried yet and is scared to do so. So we can have those talks and we can have those things, as opposed to dating someone that is outside of the culture, and then you have to go through all of that, plus explaining what it is, and not getting upset if they either don't understand it, or two, they fear it and then they hate on it because they don't understand it. So it can work, but I really prefer, if you're in the culture, if you're in the life, that's great. That takes a lot of the work out of the conversation. But then there's just those other bits of conversation where it comes to like negotiation, and it comes to like, okay, what are you into? What are you willing to try? Stuff like that. But that whole initial, like, I don't know what to say because I don't know how they're going to take it, or
Right.
they're going to hate it, so I might not say anything. That's not for me. So if you're in the culture, that's great. Like you're already doing a lot better in my dating pool.
Okay. So boy Aphrodite, the next question is,
We have a question. We have a hand up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's not exactly a question. It's more like I mean, I do think with the relationship with somebody, it can work. It's just it can be very hard for a lot of people to explain everything, or at least they can try to do it to the best of their ability. And like example with my fake dom, I couldn't explain to him anything, so it was just like no communication when it comes to that. They would just come out to the bar. They would just see the men in leather, but not really try to get to understand it.
Mm,
But yeah, like it's possible, but it can be very hard sometimes.
okay. All right. What's the next question? The next question, boy Aphrodite, is what are some of the things that you would like to see change within the leather culture? For I'm sorry, for leather boys,
for leather boys.
not
Well,
just the
you're
culture.
you're doing it. Like Boogie said, our sense of community is lacking. Um, I always teach when I find subs that are in the community, I always whisper to them, hey, don't forget, you have a voice. You hold the power. You have a voice. They're like, huh? No, daddy, nah. Ooh, come here. Let's go get a drink. Let me school you. Fake doms don't like it. Just and most uneducated doms don't like it because I'm gonna teach your boy how to be a boy, and he's gonna realize that he's gonna be able to see through it. That's what it is.
Mhm.
I've seen too many boys hurt themselves, get hurt, lose their family, friends. They end up on drugs, alcoholism, all because they were following a dom. And I think we as boys need. I find that growing up in this lifestyle, other boys saw us as competition towards each other to try and get a dom.
Mm.
And it's not. It's not like we can be brothers to a dom. We can tag team them. Which I'm tired. You can take them today. Can I have them tomorrow? I got them this weekend. It takes a village to raise a dom, and um, I love the sense of community, especially in the Leathermen of color, where we are fetishized so much and used only for what we can give. I like the sense of community that you're building to where we can be like, no, bro, I got you. Hey, try it this way, not this way. Or I don't have that answer, but wait, I know somebody that does. This is what I mean when boy has a voice. Slave has a voice. Girl has a voice. So
You about to make me cry.
I'm listening like, yes, preach.
When I tell
preach.
you, when I saw Leather Boys of Color and I saw that you were becoming an actual affiliated group, when I tell you I screamed, I was like, yes, 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 yes. So my associateship is coming. I just gotta say the money.
Okay, boy Zeta's the same question.
I mean, along the same lines, I wish we had more talks like this. I wish there was more like openness and more brotherhood and camaraderie of just kind of sharing struggles and getting to know each other and just being there for each other. And much to what Aphrodite was saying, to be able to know that you have a voice and to know that, hey, like you have somebody there that's got your back. You have somebody there that's going to help you out, that you're not alone. I know for me personally, I've struggled a lot with feeling alone and feeling like I'm just kind of in a house, which I've got people, but I feel isolated to just my house and the people within the house. I'm struggling with having a connection outside the house and having like a real brotherhood and community in the community. And I wish that it was a lot easier, because me being somebody that's still a little bit green, I wish it felt more comfortable to be myself with more people. And I felt like I had somebody I could kind of turn to when I have questions and I have issues that are going on, you know?
So, well, you know, this is exactly what the Leather Boys of Color was created for. And I, for one, like I've had Doms contact me to speak to their subs. And it's only because of them watching me, how I interact with my Dom. So what I know, you know. And the way you get to know that is to ask me. And if you ask me anything that I'm not certain of or that I don't know, then we will go and find that answer. Is really time out for the fake brotherhood. Is time out for people promising, groups promising a brotherhood and not delivering. The Leather Boys of Color, we are delivering. We are delivering. You only but have to reach out. You only but have to inbox me. I'll share my telephone number. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Each one teach one. You know, I am my brother's keeper. You know, and if we all have that attitude, then this entity can grow into a dynasty. And it's not because of what one person did, it's because of what we all are doing as a collective. We all become one person. Now I'm gonna get off my soapbox.
Can I jump on the soapbox?
Go ahead, jump on it, baby.
I'm just gonna jump on for a little bit. No, so everybody was saying, like, I 1000% agree with, especially with Aphrodite, like what you were saying. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely here for that. There's no need for competition. I'm learning how to share. I don't really like to share, but I'm learning. But if it comes to a situation like if it comes to a situation like that, like, yeah, like, you know, if the vibe is, again, if the vibe is right, the energy is right, I guess, no, hey, there should be no, but you can be serious. Okay. So what I want to say is basically, yes, we need to be there for one another. If not, you know, for anything, it's because us as boys, like, we need to understand we do have a voice. Like Aphrodite said again, like you said so many things that were just like, yes, 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 yes. Like we have a voice, and it's like, if you don't know how to find your voice, or you think you don't have a voice, it takes another boy to say, no, you have here's how to do it. Here's the tools. You know, I'm going to hold your hand. I'm not going to hold your hand. I'm not going to guide you through the entire process, but I'm going to like be there for you. So if you ever stumble, if you ever feel like you need someone to talk to, instead of trying to find, you know, these people who say they know everything and they are this expert at this, like, no, come to your fellow boy, like, because that's what we're here for. We're here to teach each other so that we can go in these spaces and like nobody can sit there and say, oh, this is what you're going to be. This is how you're supposed. No, I know who I am. I know who I am. You know who he is. They know who they are. You know, we're not going to just settle because we're supposed to be, because we're S-types. No, like that's not how this goes. This is not how the process is going to go. So again, this is what Leather Boys of Color was created for, was designed for. That's what it's going to be for as long as I'm in it, for one, because that's what I'm about. And that's what I was looking for. Like personally, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for that place where I can be myself freely, but also get that education, get that knowledge, and then pass it along. And so now that I'm here, now that I'm in this position to do that, I'm going to like, yeah. So whatever boy said, what Oba said, yes, same goes for me. If you ever reach out, like I'm on every platform. It doesn't even matter what it is. I'm everywhere. Reach out, you know, to Zetas, my fellow little, like we got it. We here. Like we could sit down and we could have a juice box session and we could just talk about shit. I'm here for it. I'm here for all of that.
Okay, now that brings me to the next question, which is what I'm gonna start with you, boy Aphrodite. What does the Leather Boy mentorship process look like to you?
Leather Boy mentorship.
You
I
have
can
said
just
it
tell you
earlier.
what I'm doing now. I have a couple of boys that I'm mentoring, because I guess my dynamic with my daddy has shown, and everyone I've gotten a few. Oh my God, I wish my dynamic was like yours. It can't be. You just need to talk to your dom. And that's really all I do. Like I call them my little brothers. I hit them up every morning. Hey, good morning, little brother. Hey, big brother, how you doing? What's going on? And they tell me about life. And I guide them in the best way I know how. And when it comes to their kink and leather lifestyle, I guide them with the best way I know how. I tell them, hey, I need you to buy this book. And we're going to go from chapter to chapter. We're going to talk about it. We're going to do the exercises. You're going to learn, and I'm going to relearn because I ain't read this book in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them to be wary of mentors, depending on the mentor. I've ran into some of my little brothers who have done some things, and I'm like, little brother, what'd you do? Well, I mean, he was my mentor, and what I tell you, try it out for yourself first. But it doesn't seem fun. You need to make it fun. Turn yourself on first.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just coaching them, because when I see them, I see myself 20-something years ago. And
Absolutely.
it's like, stop it. I need you to do it this way. Like, don't make the same mistake I did. But unfortunately, it's also one of those, okay, I'm gonna leave you on your own. If you make this mistake, this is on you.
All right.
And that's pretty much how my mentorship has gone. And a couple of my little brothers, they've grown significantly, and they realize the fake dom, the fake mentor, and oh my God, I'm so tired. I'm like, yes, you're finding
That's
your
it.
voice.
Mm-hmm. So, boy Zetas, the same question.
Being so green, I don't know if I'm in the right place to be a mentor to somebody. I don't think I know quite enough for all that. But
Okay, let's flip it.
well, being a mentee, what I would look for in a mentor, somebody that's there, somebody who knows what they're talking about. I've had bad experiences with mentors. I've had experiences where a mentor weaseled their way into being more than just a mentor, and things went south pretty quick, and it turned into very bad day. But anyways, it's important to me to, just like you vet a dominant, you got to vet a mentor. You have to know who this person is, who they are in the lifestyle. Like, just because they're not a dominant, just because on the same side as Slashy, doesn't mean that you know who they are. And it's very important to, again, see if you guys match up, see if you guys vibe, see if like this would be a good fit as a mentor-mentee kind of relationship. and really just kind of take your time and not rush into that relationship, just like you wouldn't rush into a dominant subdominant relationship.
Right.
You know,
Now I asked that question for a specific reason, because I've seen and I've heard a lot of leather boys make the mistake of going to a dom for mentorship. A dom wouldn't go to a leather boy for mentorship.
I made that mistake myself.
Right. So if you want to learn how to function as a leather boy, is better to learn that from a leather boy that you've observed doing the work and living the life.
I think most of us have done that where we've gone to a dom for mentorship.
Mhm.
Because by all old guard protocol, they should have been a boy first before becoming a son.
Absolutely.
In old guard protocol, but a
They
lot
come
of
out
us,
the gate doms now.
right? They come out the gate, doms, daddies, sirs. And they're like, well, have you been a boy? No, I'm not a boy.
Mm.
I'm good. But we weren't taught in the community to go to another boy for help. We were taught, if you need help, go to your sir, or if you need help, find a dom. So this here is refreshing, because I know I can, had I had this 15, 20 years ago, Lord knows what I'd be right now. I mean, I'm good, but I'd probably be even better now.
Mhm.
So I hope this grows to where we can help subs, not only of color, but even.
Absolutely, because it don't
better.
stop there.
Yeah,
It really doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there, because as a submissive, and not just a submissive of color, as a submissive, I know that being caught up with the wrong dom could cause you physical pain, mental pain, and even worse than that. So if we don't grab a hold of each other and try to guide each other and point each other in the right directions, a lot of us will be lost. A lot of us will be lost. And I'm fortunate enough to be in a house and in a family that I can lean on. Sometimes, now, I don't know about y'all, but Boogie said, let's be real. So I'm gonna be real. Sometimes I get so frustrated and upset with my dom. Master Eli, I hope you ain't watching.
You know he peeking around the corner.
Right?
Hey,
Say what now?
But sometimes it just gets there. But the thing is, I have siblings I can call to get that off my chest. And by the time that it's time for me to address Master with it, I'm calm.
Mhm.
I got a clear head, and I can communicate my frustration without being frustrated. You know, and on the flip side, I know I frustrate the hell out of him. But he don't go to somebody else to talk to them. He come right to me with it.
Right.
So I know I know I get on his nerves at times and I frustrate him. But when we calm down, we do talk and we have communication. One of my siblings said, on Facebook, you just make it look like y'all dynamic is so perfect. That's why I posted what I posted when I said that, you know, we have our moments when things ain't as perfect as it looks on Facebook. You know, but I dare not air our dirty laundry out on the book of the face.
Right.
That's not where that goes.
That is the worst places.
That is not where that goes. Nah. Nah. And I ain't trying to get paddled for doing that either. Okay. So what about you, Boogie? You have anything on your perspective of what mentorships look like for Leatherboy?
I think in terms of when you say mentorship, it should be exactly that, a mentorship. A lot of times people or boys will go and they will seek out mentorship and it turns into something else. It turns into like a relationship and something sexual. And it's like, I didn't want this. This is not what I wanted. But then again, it goes to like, I didn't know how to communicate that. So this is just where we are. So when I look at mentorship or when I'm looking for mentorship, like make that as emphatically clear. Like this is for mentorship. I'm looking for guidance. I'm looking for knowledge. I'm looking for you to be that person to like instill whatever it is that you learned, if you can, onto me. And we bounce like that, vice versa, without any type of sexual involvement whatsoever, because that's when it gets muddy and that's when things get convoluted and it's like, well, now you're entering into something that you didn't know, either you didn't want it or you didn't know that you were ready for it. And so like now it just opens up a whole other can of issues, and that it can leave you scarred if it doesn't work out. It can leave you broken, and it can leave you like, well, I don't even want to do this anymore, because every time I jump into something, like it turns into something, then it doesn't work out, and like it's like an endless cycle. So for me, if I'm looking for mentorship, that's what it means. Mentorship, strictly that. It's nothing, nothing goes beyond that. Now, when it comes, if it's in the realm of you're doing a demo and you need somebody to be like either a demo bottom or whatever the case may be, I think that is different because it's for educational purposes and it's not for pleasure. Your body's going to react the way it's going to react. That's just your body. But in the realm of things, like keep that in mind. Like this is for education. This is for teaching. This is for that. And so yeah, I just look, if it's gonna be a mentorship, then yeah, it should be that.
Absolutely.
And be clear.
when I'm approached for a mentorship, or if I'm vetting a boy, because yeah, I'm gonna have a boy. I'm his. The first thing I do is I give simple assignments. And if you cannot do the simple assignments, then one, I know you're not serious. And two, you're not willing to do the work to make the mentorship successful or to make your leather journey what you need it to be. And then when they start talking about sex, I dead it in the very beginning. I did it in the very, do you want mentorship or you want sex? Don't come to me with any ulterior motive under any guises. If you want sex, let me know you want sex, and leave the mentorship to somebody who really wants it, right? If that makes sense. And so I just cut it. I have a low tolerance for BS. If I give you an assignment, if I tell you to research something, that research is for you to come back with your perspective and or questions. If you just tell me, yeah, I researched it and nothing else, I know you're not serious. because when I was commissioned by my first daddy to start researching shit, everything, the whatever he gave me to research just led me to research something else. Okay, because everything is attached to something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to know what that something else is now. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
If you don't have any questions or any ideas of how what you're researching is, then you just looking over the shit. You're not investing your time and your energy into that simple charge. So I can't invest my time and energy into you until you come back to me serious.
Right.
Yeah, because I don't have to do anything. I do the best that I can. And if I'm running into brick walls, then I'll search out somebody who can help me break through. But yeah, if I'm given an assignment, then I'm going to follow it through. And if for some reason I can't, then I'm going to communicate that, because I'm serious about the life that I live. I'm serious about this culture that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's just that. So this is the last question.
Uh-huh.
Well, last question from me. If anybody else got a question, just yeah. But Aphrodite, what advice would you offer a boy that is new into the culture? And you've already said it.
That you have a voice.
One more time for the people in the back row.
If nothing else, you have a voice. You pick the dom, you pick the sir, you pick the master. Vet them. Get to know them outside of kink. Get to know what their normal habits are. Get to know what their naughty habits are, the stuff that's going to get on your nerves as a friend, before you open your mouth and say, sir, I want you to be my master, sir, daddy, father. Vet them first, and then let them vet you, because you're a boy. You can be molded to fit into service, but you need to make sure that you are in the position to where they will appreciate your service.
Mm-hmm.
And just to where it's just not habit. Oh yeah, I know my boy's going to take care of it. Hey, with service comes reward. And that's another piece of advice. With service comes reward. I don't care if you're a slave to a son. You do something, you get something. Don't let them take advantage of you. Okay, I'm done.
Would you have any advice for newcomers, Adis?
Take your damn time. Like, don't rush into it. Again, vet and vet and vet some more. But get out in the community. Get to know the people around you. Get to know the people that are out there. Kind of get a feel, your finger on the pulse of what's going on. Take the time to get to know yourself, get to know who you are as a submissive, get to know what you want out of your submission, out of your service. Just get to know what's going on before you rush into, hey, I gotta get a daddy, I gotta get a master, I gotta get a sir. Like, there'll be time for that, but don't worry about it right away. I myself ran into that when I was brand new, as I rushed into a dynamic and ended badly. I didn't vet enough, I didn't do enough research, I didn't get to know myself enough, and paid the consequences of it, And as somebody that's gone through that, I could definitely get the advice to vet and vet and vet some more. And you can never vet enough. And even after you're done vetting and you get into a dynamic, talk, communicate, let them know what's going on. Because if they really want you as their, their property, as whatever, they're gonna want to know what's going on with you. They're gonna know what the issues are going on. They want to know what's up. Continually communicate no matter what's going on. If you have any questions, just ask. There's no stupid questions,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would add to that, because of who I am, research everything, research protocol, research all kinks and fetishes. You don't have to be into them all, but know what they are, know what they're about. Because sometimes the verbiage can get confusing, and you can find yourself in a situation that you don't want to be in. Like, take edging and edge play, for instance. They sound the same, totally different. Edging is when you bring somebody to the brink and you stop. Edge play is when you bring somebody to the brink of death and then you stop. A lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that. How did I find that out? I researched one thing and it led me to another. So research is vital and is very important, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you hurt yourself, or in a situation where you hurt somebody else. Boy Boogie, you have anything to add?
Yeah, I basically said everything, but to just piggyback on it. No, like, absolutely research. Do your research. Do your research on everything that you can possibly do. Like, don't think that everything is spelled out the way it sounds, because, like, again, like, these things sound similar, but like they're two completely different things. And know what you want. Know your. I always tell people, I say, you're going to know what you like. You're going to know what you don't like. The thing that's always fluctuating is that middle point. That middle point is always going to fluctuate. 1 minute, or it could be a situation where, like, okay, maybe today you're not feeling a certain thing, but maybe next week you will. So always keep an open mind when coming into this, especially if you're new. Like, have that open mind to not just dismiss anything, because you never know. That one thing that you could say absolutely no to, that is an absolutely red hard limit, all of that stuff will be the exact same thing that you're like, absolutely yes, let's go. I want to do it. I'm here for it. So always keep an open mind, especially when it comes to kink. Vet people like the plague. Like, I don't care if you gotta ask. Seriously, yes. I don't care if you gotta ask 4,000 questions. If one of those questions out that 4,000 doesn't ring true to you, or it ain't working right for you, then you need to really think, hey, is this person really right for me? And not just vet that person, but if they say they have multiple, or they've been in the game for a long amount of time, vet those people. Go to them. Hey, how was your experience? Or if they wasn't with them, how was your experience with so and so? Or if they still with them, how was your experience with them? Is everything going right? Is communication there? Can we have those talks? Vet people, because that's the only way you're going to truly know for yourself if this dynamic is truly for you. Everything is not meant for everybody. It's not a one size fits all. Like, right. There's different mix and combinations, and you can play around with this. Use your imagination. Like, kink is about imagination in my book. Like, if you can think about it and you can do it safely, or as safe as you possibly can, go for it. Don't think that nothing is out of the realm of possibility, because trust me, I've done a lot, I've seen a lot, and I'm just like, wow. And then my mind is always still expanding, because I'm like, I never even thought that thing could be used for that, and that could get you to that point. So always keep an open mind in this, especially when you're, on the submissive side. And again, don't think that because you're a submissive side that you're a doormat. You're not a doormat. You're not meant to just say yes to everything. No, if something doesn't feel right to you, or something is a question it. Hey, we need to talk about this, or no, this is not what I signed up for. This is not what we negotiated. We need to go back to the drawing board and communicate those things. You have a voice, you have all that stuff. That's what I'm gonna say, because again, I'm gonna go on for hours and hours and hours. I'm passionate. I hear it in my voice, and I'm getting passionate about it, so I'm gonna keep going. But no, that's what I'm gonna say now.
And that's what we need. And that's exactly what we need. We need passion. We need passion. We can't just do this for the sake of doing it. I don't do Leather Boys of Color because Master Eli created it and he wants me to do it. I do this because this is something that I believe in.
Right.
And I believe it's necessary. And I'm not going to say I believe it can work. I believe it works. I believe it works. And this has been, I believe, 2.5 years. And now we're starting to get our footing. You know, and I don't want to lose that momentum. I want to keep creating. I want to keep growing. And I want these bonds to be strong. You know, I want to be able to depend on you guys, and I want you guys to be able to depend on me. You know, and I'm not one for always saying pretty words to try to get everybody to think the way I think, because I don't like for people to give me pretty words for me to fall into place in what they want me to do. You know, if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here.
Period.
But to be here, if I'm going to put 100% of me into this, I expect each and every one of you to put 110% of you into it as well. And I'm not here for play. I'm not here for play. This is not a game to me. This is not cute because we're on the book of the face. Shut up, Boogie. I want this to be something universal. I want somebody in Dubai to be a part of this chat one day. I want somebody in Belgium to be a part of this chat someday. You know what I mean? And we can do it.
No, definitely. It's definitely
we
possible.
absolutely can do it. We absolutely can do it.
But we're not here for the pageantry. We ain't here for that. Like, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that.
But like you said, like, we, even though we're in different parts of the US, like, we still can have that to where, like, it doesn't even matter. It's like, that's my brother. That's my brother. And when I go down there, we're going to hang out. We're going to do all the things, but we're going to also keep that bond intact, even when we're not together, even when we're not physically together. And like you, I want this to be a movement. I want this to be international, to the point where we got people all over the motherfucking world, saying, part of this. And this is what means to me. And we can use our collective knowledge to better the entirety of this, no matter where you are in this planet.
All right. What's up?
We got a hand up.
Yeah, from me, of course. There's nothing new at this point.
What you want?
But nah, like, it's just more like, I definitely love hearing just the different aspects of what being a boy is. Like, it's just, there's so many different aspects. Like, some of y'all have seen me all over social media too. It ain't nothing new. And that's why it's like, I am where I am now because of not just observing, but also listening to everybody, like, to the different people's stories. So, like, as somebody who's just turned 40 literally last month, and like, you can learn so much. Like, a lot of times, I think you, like, I think as people get quote unquote older, is that they lose track of everybody else's perspective, because they're setting their own paths.
Mm-hmm.
And just learning from different people's perspectives has just been amazing. So I know I'm probably the only one that's still awake here. I don't know.
You're gonna have some words with somebody.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
But no, like, oh, I just want to say, yes, we're all boys, but know your worth. Know your worth as a boy.
Yeah.
And seek that out. I know I'm a special boy. Like, yes, I can give you the masculine boy, I can give you the girly, I can give you all of that. And I know me. I know I want that high quality status. So I want to be the best person that I can be so that I can find somebody who can match this level, because it's a lot.
Right.
Like, this ain't no, there's a lot to deal with this. I get it.
Right.
I understand. But like, I want to make sure that I'm at my best so that I can find somebody who can meet that and we can gel like that.
Right. And you also want a dom or doms that you can grow with. If you think you have it all, you think you know it all, go ahead and put all your leather and stuff in a box and just. But these dynamics, these relationships are like normal relationships, to where you're supposed to put, it's my job as your boy to push you to be your best. Dom, sir, master. It's more than just making sure that your coffee's made, your clothes are pressed, because that's only part of it. You're going to go to work because all your stuff is done because you had a great boy behind you. But in the same turn, sweet boy, these are the things I need you to do. These are the things I know you're wanting to do. So this is, guess what? This is your assignment. But I'm gonna get it done because I know he's on his shit, I'm on mine. Guess what? That's Jay-Z and Beyonce right there.
There you go. There you go.
And that's my goal to strive for, is to be the best version of Aphrodite, or as my daddy calls me, Katesh. To be that best version, so that way I can make sure he's good. He's the best kaleidoscope. Sorry, that was radio. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good. Because we can still hear you.
Right. And I'm all for it. I'm like, yes, I need to hear all of this on a daily basis. So wherever I'm coming, we gonna have to sit down and talk. I'm gonna make that a mission.
Okay, so
just find me on Facebook. I'll accept you. Hit me a note, and we can talk. I love talking to other subs. When I tell you, I love talking to other subs more than any other group in the leather community, because I can relate to you all more than I can a dom. I'm not a dom. I don't have my meerkat. I have a Garrison cap. That's what I wear.
All right, guys, we're gonna call it a night because I gotta get my old ass to bed. It's way past my bedtime. But I want to thank you guys for showing up and showing out. This was a great conversation.
I enjoyed it.
And I can't wait till we do it again.
I can't wait till we can do one in person with some wine, liquor, food.
Okay.
No, alcoholic good for me.
No, put it out there in the atmosphere. Like, I want to be able to be at events and conferences and having,
for those that are sober,
panels with boys. I'm like, no, this is a collective, and we're here to teach, from our perspective,
our perspective.
Yeah. So everyone have a good night. Thank you for joining. Don't be a stranger.
Please don't.
Definitely not.
The on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. So hit your boy.
That's what they say, right?
That's what they say, right?
That's what the kids are saying these days.
Right.
So y'all have a good night. I'm gonna take myself to
Good night.
sleep now. And
Good night.
love you guys.
All right.
Bye. Bye.